welcome back to my channel, Heaven and Helly. I'm Helly. It's a pleasure to have this time with you. I want to make a clear distinction here that I'm not here to teach anybody anything. I'm honestly here just to share my story and my reflections, and if that means anything to you, then I hope that you can take something away from one of my videos. And if you're tuning in just to watch for fun, I hope that you do stay and that you do enjoy some of my videos. I plan on putting out more content, so stay tuned. So what I want to talk about today. Last week, actually, on Friday, I was involved in a 3-car accident on the highway driving home. I was hit from behind while stopped in some traffic, and thankfully the accident was a minor accident. All the individuals involved were able to walk away from that accident without needing medical attention, and the damage to the cars are all minor to moderate, so things are being sorted out from that. And I don't want to talk too much about the accident itself and dwell on that, but I do want to talk about what that means for me moving forward, basically. From the past couple of years when my father was sick and looking after him, and all of the back and forth in the hospital and things going on in my personal life apart from that as well, caused basically a disarray of my nervous system. And that was one of the major things that I was dealing with this past year, just trying to calm my nervous system and come back to a sort of equilibrium or homeostasis. And for having life just hit me again, no pun intended, after everything I've went through, kind of not that it took me over the edge, but it easily could have. And I could feel my internal fight or flight sympathetic nervous system, I believe, my fight or flight sympathetic nervous system just flaring up again. And it's very easy for our bodies to do that, especially when we've taken on a lot of trauma and stress, even if it may be minor in some instances. It doesn't have to be as large as losing a parent or caregiving to cause that distress in our bodies. It could trigger a lot of trauma that's already stored there. So basically, I wanted to make this video on what I've been doing to try to regulate my nervous system and reset it after that accident and in the past year itself, because I definitely have noticed a big difference in the way that I'm able to handle the aftermath of this accident, and what I've been doing this year in general to regulate myself. And although it's still a work in progress, I would say that I definitely am not at the peace or state of mind that I would prefer to be in. I can see the growth that I've made this year, and it's really changed a lot of things for me, as I'm finally able to even see joy again, which for a long time I thought that was perhaps not possible. Again, I just want to say that I'm not here to teach per se. I'm not someone that has all the answers, but I'm here to reflect out loud. And if anything resonates, if you are able to get some help from this video, even if you have some comments or things that you think would help me, please comment below. Don't be afraid to reach out to me. Again, I am not a medical professional, so this is not medical or psychological advice in any way, shape, or form. I'm just relaying my experiences and what I've learned in the past year after doing some research on how my body felt. So a lot of the symptoms for me, the way that I was able to feel the misalignment of the sympathetic nervous system, my fight or flight, and my parasympathetic nervous system, my rest and digest, was through symptoms such as brain fog. I was having a lot of trouble concentrating more than usual. Lack of motivation / procrastination. I knew that there was things I wanted to do, but I just couldn't motivate myself to per se do them, or even find the pleasure or the clarity while doing them. So I could be doing them, but I didn't feel that connectedness to what I was doing. Doom scrolling, zoning out, and coasting. I was doing a lot of that. I would spend hours on my social media, on TikTok, just scrolling. Sometimes I wouldn't even watch the video for longer than 5 seconds. I would just scroll past. I would zone out a lot in life and just coast through life, kind of self-medicating myself to get through each day, counting down the hours until I could go to bed, wake up, and then do it all again. I was tired, exhausted, no matter how much sleep I got, and I was actually sleeping pretty well, though some people do find, insomnia to be a symptom. So again, like I said, please look up more information yourself and talk to a professional if you need. A big one for me was definitely irritability and just being overwhelmed in general by a lot of things. So minor inconveniences that would happen if things didn't go exactly the way that I had wanted them to go or projected that they would go. I would get frustrated very easily. Any minor inconvenience would set my body into a state of panic, and I could feel myself freeze up and just get very angry and distressed inside. This was definitely one of the worst symptoms for me because I felt like I used to be the kind of person that was easygoing. I could go with the flow. I could let things happen and kind of be agile in working around them, but I just became more concerned about control over the situations and making sure things went as I had planned them or thought that they would go, and would get very easily irritated when they didn't. I wouldn't be able to roll with the punches, which is definitely one of the keys, I guess, to living a happy and peaceful life. Just being able to take what life deals with you, and you can feel the emotions, but you have to keep going. And that was something that I was not able to do. I wasn't even able to feel the emotions of how that felt. I would just get angry and kind of make myself a victim and say, why is this happening to me? Another physical symptom that I've experienced is hair loss. So I was losing a lot of hair, showering, brushing my hair, just taking my hair tie in and out of my hair. I wasn't taking care of myself, and my cortisol levels were rather high, which was causing acne, stress, aging, hair loss, all of those, graying hairs, all of those things, bloating, digestive issues. So there's a lot of physical manifestations as well. So what have I been doing to kind of help ease this and bring my body back to a state of equilibrium over the last year, and particularly help my body be more grounded after this accident that I experienced last week, that I could feel easily set my body back into alarm mode, basically. A lot of these you've probably heard before, and that's because they work. So don't discount the cliches, but breathwork, pranayama, I have to admit that when my body is feeling stressed, it's a lot harder for me to be consistent with a lot of these practices, whether it's the breathwork or meditation or anything further that I'm going to talk about. But it's not about being able to do it every single day or do it perfectly. Just bring yourself to do what you can, when you can, as often as you can, when you need it. So definitely breathwork is a huge one. I am planning on making another video about the pranayama sequence that I use usually every morning or when I need some grounding. Two of the main breathing techniques that are really helpful are deep belly breathing. So make sure that when you're inhaling, your belly is expanding and you're filling up your diaphragm and then your chest with air. And then as you exhale from up to down, from the chest out, then the diaphragm and the belly goes back in towards your spine. If your exhales are longer than your inhales, you can inhale for a couple of counts through your nose and then exhale through your mouth for a longer count than you've inhaled for. This will help to activate the resting mechanisms of your body. Another breathwork technique that is particularly helpful in soothing the nervous system is Brahmari breathing or hummingbee breath. This one, you stick your thumbs outside your ear just to close this little flap, and then you bring your pinky fingers below your mouth, your ring fingers underneath your nostrils, and these two fingers to close your eyes. And we're gonna close our ears, close our eyes, rest our hands like this, and then you just take a deep inhale and and then you hum as you exhale. So humming in general is very good for our bodies. It stimulates our vagus nerve. The vagus nerve is connected to our central nervous system. It's a huge player of our central nervous system. It's connected to a lot of these key organs that play into the homeostasis and keeping our body at an equilibrium. And humming kind of activates that vagus nerve, so it's able to calm our bodies down. Again, I will make a video with my full pranayama morning routine, and I'll have that posted soon. Another tool that I've been using over the past couple of years is meditation. I know a lot of people tell me I can't meditate, I can't just sit there, I can't just think of nothing at all, and to that I say you don't have to. Again, I'll put the meditation more into that video with the pranayama in the morning, because I do those two together, and doing the pranayama really helps to take us into our meditation further. There's many different tactics or techniques you can use to meditate, but I would say even if you just sit there for 5 minutes, even if your thoughts are flowing, let them flow. Just try to resist doing something else. Sit there, listen to your thoughts, listen to your feelings. Another thing that you could do is journal. Getting your words out there, whether it's in your personal journal or to a broader audience, is always very helpful. So while I was in India, I also got my yoga certification. Yoga is something that's always helped me in my life to keep me calm, keep me stabilized. I noticed that I'm able to deal with a lot of the things that are going on in my life, whether it's been in the past few years or even prior when I was younger, through yoga and just doing a very mindful, slow practice, not particularly for exercise of the body, but to slow down the mind. And that's the key. It's something that's supposed to slow you down and ground you back into your body rather than, make you go faster. So yoga or any type of movement has really been helpful for me. And a lot of times I can't, to be honest, this year it's been very hard to get myself back into the gym consistently. I'm very susceptible to the swings of my hormones and the waves of grief and just the change that's happened. So things trigger me, and it's not as easy to have, productive output as society tells us we should have. So I haven't always been just going to the gym, but I definitely try to go outside for walks, especially now that the weather's getting warmer. It's something that's been nice, just to observe nature without listening to a podcast, without listening to music. Sometimes I don't even take my phone. I'll just go out there and sit and observe nature, and that definitely makes you feel more connected and makes you feel less alone in general. And sometimes you'll see things out there like two birds fighting, or like a tree over the seasons, from losing all its leaves and just being bark in the winter to spring and flowering and then seeing the leaves again. And that really makes you have more perspective on your own life, that we go through seasons just as the trees do, just as the weather and the earth does, and that's okay. We're allowed to do that. Connecting with what's greater out there, what's bigger than us, really has been helpful. One thing that I really needed, I think, for this past year, and I recently just got back on to social media actually, and putting my voice back out in the internet, was taking a break from being online, from social media, from posting videos, from writing blogs. I kind of needed to cocoon myself in my own energy and learn to be grounded again in who I am, and kind of realign myself in a greater sense before I could either A, put myself back out there, and B, consume energy and information about other people out there. It was more difficult for me to see what other people were doing in their lives and their achievements. And of course, the key word here is I'm just seeing, as an outsider looking in from social media, the highlight reels, as we all know. But to see people achieving things or getting further in life, while it felt like I was at a halt, or I at an impasse in my life, was just not allowing me to fully be present and conscious of myself. So getting myself off of social media and just being in my own energy and my own presence was really really helpful this past year. It kind of felt like I was in a bubble of my own world. We all know that the news nowadays is not gonna make us happier for the most part. So instead of being too connected to what's happening outside of the world, just focusing on what I could control in my immediate radius, basically. Another small thing that we could do for ourselves is, as we know, self-care. That includes just taking the time to, do your face routine, gua sha, dry brush, all of that good stuff to show yourself some love. Make sure you talk kindly to yourself, affirmations. I've been playing subliminals a lot more in the background. I'm playing one right now. I've been listening to affirmations in the morning. There's a lot of good pre-recorded ones already on YouTube. I'm the kind of person that I don't like to kind of look in the mirror and tell myself an affirmation, but listening to the pre-recorded ones and repeating after them was super helpful for me. And a self-massage technique, Abhyang, is rooted in Ayurveda that I really have come to love. You can use special oils from online that are specifically for balancing your specific body type. Sesame oil, I believe, is one of the best oils that you can find in any grocery store that works for any body type, and it's a very grounding oil. So even the day of the accident, when I came home, I gave myself a nice self-massage. Dry brushing is more of an energizing practice, so I chose to just do the Abhyang, which is the self-massage. You use the sesame oil all throughout your body in long strokes on like your limbs, so you would use long strokes here, and then on your joints you go in circular motions, and you'll start from head to toe. You can put it anywhere you want and just let it sit and soak into your skin, and focus on the practice of really giving that love to yourself energetically as well. It's about that energy going into you, and with the massage you're also releasing a lot of that lymphatic buildup that may be in your body, and releasing a lot of the stored tension, which also leads me into another technique that I've been using a lot, is just, as I mentioned, stretching, movement, moving that stored energy. Especially after my accident, I'm finding a lot of energy stored in my hips. A lot of women might feel that stiffness in their hips. There's some good stretches I can show you in another video as well. And then I also hold a lot of stress in my jaw, which triggers migraines for me. And that after the accident, I've had a lot of neck pain and upper back shoulder pain. So that's been holding tension. Then the tension is in my jaw, leads to a headache, and definitely doing some stretches for the body, for the neck. Eye yoga, very helpful. You can look into all of these resources online, and I will be coming out with a video shortly. If you are interested, please comment below and I will work to get that video out there. Another practice that I've been loving is just having my warm cup of tea. I drink this every single morning, and in the mornings when I drink it, I just sit with my tea and stare out the window. I don't try to do anything more besides enjoy the tea and enjoy the moment of peace I have before my day gets going. I also drink this tea all throughout the day. It's the famous Ayurvedic CCF tea, so it's cumin, coriander, fennel tea, and then I add a pinch of turmeric powder, haldi, and a pinch of black pepper, which activates the turmeric powder. It's, again, good for all body constitutes and types. It's super grounding, it's super warm, not caffeinated, so you can drink it all day long. I'm particularly sensitive to caffeine, and especially when your body is in a heightened state of fight or flight, caffeine will activate the sympathetic nervous system more, so it's not the best thing to be drinking caffeine when you're already feeling activated, basically. The number one important thing that I think has helped me the most over the last year, and this last week in particular, is having grace. Grace for myself, grace for others, and just having grace in general. I'm the kind of person that I like routine, I like to get things done, I like to be productive. But productive doesn't always mean the same thing for everyone, and even for one person, it doesn't mean the same thing every day. In some times of our life, productive means something different than other moments in life. And especially when you're not feeling your best, you're misaligned both energetically and chemically imbalanced in the body, productive will look very different than what you might think it looks like and what society tells us we should be doing. So having grace for yourself and letting yourself rest, relax, not be perfect, it's very necessary for us to allow ourselves some grace, to be soft with ourselves, kind to ourselves, let ourselves learn and flow and get to an equilibrium as fast or as slow as our bodies can and need to. And there's no end goal, there's no race to win. You just allow yourself to be, and of course, do these practices when you need them. Sometimes it is a bit of you have to force yourself to actually do it. For me, it was very easy to just zone out and watch TV, and I have to tell myself, no, it's better for me to do my self massage. It's better for me to do this. But self-care is about allowing yourself to do what you know is better for you without putting a rigid outline on what you should do. Having grace for others is just understanding that people don't understand where you are in life. Some people may never understand. Most people are busy with their own lives. So have grace for others where they are. Let them meet you where they are, and you meet yourself where you need to be. The journey to equilibrium, or the journey back to yourself, is a long journey, and it's definitely not linear. I thought that I was making progress. I thought that I was normal. But after this accident this last week, I realized, it's not just like a light switch where you're either normal or you're not. It's a constant journey that we have to be keeping up with no matter what. Things will happen that will trigger us. We'll find ourselves in these states of distress over and over in life. It's not just one thing doesn't happen and then that's it. You can heal from that and continue forward. Sometimes you heal and it sets you back a couple of steps, but you have to keep taking your steps forward and doing the best that you can. So yes, thank you for watching this video. If you've made it to the end, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I hope that this video was able to help you learn some new maybe tips and tricks, help you realize that you're not alone in the way that you're feeling. And if we know that we're in this together, I think that we're all gonna be okay. So thank you guys for watching. I really look forward to making more videos, and hopefully we can get to know each other a bit more. Please like, subscribe, comment below. You can reach me on many platforms. I'll have them linked as well. If you have any feedback, positive or negative, feel free to leave it. And yes, I'm excited. Thank you guys.